how are you today? Welcome back to the channel. I feel like I have become an oldie officially. But anyway, today I'm going to talk about let's start doing things without expecting it to be perfect. Because I am in a lot of crafts group, right? And in a lot of crafts group, most of the members are basically boomers generation, so like 70s, 80s years old. And hold on, let me just close the window. And we're back. Um, and most of them are you can tell like they come from a very perfectionist generation where they won't try to even start a project without even wanting it to be perfect. And I'm not that type. Okay, I prefer for it to be done than perfect, because like most of the things that I make are functional things, like either a beanie or a scarf or a bag, stuff that I can use in my everyday life. And it doesn't need to be perfect, it just needs to be functional, because that's always like my philosophy behind it. Anyway, guys, if you guys are just tuning in, my name is Valourine. I chat and I do vlogs here on YouTube, at least for 2025 anyway. So if you want to check out my other work, you can go down in the description box to see what I have. And yeah, so just welcoming people just in case you're new here, because I changed up my contents this year, so I'm assuming that like all my audience from last year are gone. Um so yeah, so I feel like you don't have to start something and expecting it to be perfect, and I feel like there's always a barrier for people um to do, like, and that's how I feel anyway when I was younger as well. Like, I don't want to try something new because I couldn't get it perfect, and I get a lot of anxiety, like, for the fact that it's not perfect, it's not producing the results that I want. One of the things that now I have learned, especially on YouTube here, is that just start anyway and start making anyways. Like, I know like a lot of people are probably have better lucks than me when it comes to making it or making money here on content creation side of things. But I think being a failure or have not yet making it is a good thing for me, because it also trained me to just keep making things, just keep creating things, and not being afraid that it is ugly or it's not landing properly to your audience. It's not pretty, because I do art sometime and I do like creative things. Like, I used to do a lot of like abstract watercolor, which is basically just like swooshing my brush around on paper with water and and paint and watercolor paint. And if you can check out all my stuff like in the description box, like all my links and my shops and stuff, if you want to see like what I'm up to on the internet so far. Um so I feel like, because I have been into the creative, not business, but like creative side of things, as a lay person, meaning like I don't have any training whatsoever in the creative side of things. I just make stuff, and I understand that's probably why a lot of my stuff probably don't compare to um, most people's that have been, oh no, that have talent and actually do it properly. But I feel like what I'm saying has a lot of weight to it, because as someone who never trained or not studying professionally and also not studying from anyone, you still can get something out of it, especially if you try to do something or create something just for the sake of enjoying yourself. I think that's even worse, of to think about perfectionism. You just have to do it so because you like it. And one of the things that I really emphasizing when I was like still doing my abstract watercolor is the fact that I really enjoy putting the brush with the water and also the paint. the process was really magical in some sense. And I feel like you have to find a process, especially in the creative field, that you find to be very meditative, very calming, something that takes you out of the everyday, something that makes your brain chatter stop. And I think that will definitely prevent any type of perfectionism that you want or that you have. And I think like one of the best advice that I received from somewhere, I don't know, on the internet probably, is just keep making things and keep failing, and it's okay. And I think, but I know like the feeling is bad because I remember like in the beginning was I was just first crocheting and also first knitting, so fiber art basically. Um, I remember like all my crochet bags always ended up being really bad, like it's not the way I wanted it to be. And even after 8 years, I feel still like it's not where I want it to be. Like there's always going to be like half of my creation that I didn't like. But I feel like as time progresses, the scale is tipping towards uh like actually creating something that I ended up satisfied with. And I find that to be progress. But I feel like if I always insisted on being perfect every time I create something, I would never get to this stage where I like 80% of what I made. And I know like some people are very adamant about it's better to create something good and like one good thing and sacrificing all the possibilities of 100 imperfect things, because the one good thing is better than 100 imperfect things. I can see that perspective as well, but I prefer the 100 perfect imperfect things, because just because you judge it as imperfect and as ugly, for example, doesn't mean that the people that actually like what you create would judge it as such. I think especially in the painting business, I really learned that like firsthand, like things that I would judge as rubbish, literally rubbish, like painting that is basically not even a painting. It's just paper that I use to clean up my brush when I want to switch color. And in the beginning, I would put up that paper, that washing paper, basically just to clean up my brush as one of like the art print that I would sell. And I remembered one time that was the only paint or print that would sell out of a whole batch that I uploaded onto the internet. So that was like a huge lesson for me. Just because I think it's not art doesn't mean that other people don't think it's as art. And of course, like this particular suggestion is highly niche in the creative industry, probably. But I feel like it's also important for content creating. It's like you just become better as you go. And for some people, it takes 100 tries or 1,000 tries, like me. I'm one of those people who needs the quantity to basically hone my creative outlet, and I need those failures out from me first before I'm able to tap into some sort of order, some sort of logical sense in how to make it properly. And also, like, if you are like me, you probably have difficulty following a pattern. For example, if you're into crochet or knitting, I can't read a pattern, I can't read a crochet or a knitting pattern. It's very difficult for me. So everything that I create, I basically have to kind of see and then imagine in my brain, and then I would take like my needle and follow along with it. Um, yeah, so I think creative pursuit, especially, is creative pursuit and perfectionism is for me is completely contradictory, because I feel like if you are someone who are in the creative industry, being perfect really means you're not going to be creative. I think being perfect is something that you would try to do in a business environment. You have a checklist that you have to tick being perfect is definitely required. If you are a pilot, for example, you have a bunch of safety checklists that you have to go through before you take off, that I'm really sure that you have to take all of them. Yes, please be perfect in that sense, please, for all of us safety. But outside of that, I think when it comes to creating, I think it's not necessarily need to be so. Like it also play in my like cooking. Like when I was younger, everything feels really chaotic and everything feels like I don't know where to start, what to do. But after like decades of struggling with that, like, and I always try to avoid cooking because I didn't want to create something that is inedible, like something that I can't eat, something that tastes really awful. But I think as I aged, especially those insecurities kind of go away, and like things calm down, and I'm applying what I told you so far. Basically, is allowing myself to fail, allowing myself to say to myself, it's okay if it doesn't taste good, it's okay, you can try again. And that's what I've been doing. I just been doing, oh, this one doesn't taste good, okay, um next time let's try again. And I find like with each try things do get a little bit better, like inch by inch. And I feel like not punishing yourself is very important, and to keep going, because I don't feel like it's realistic to always reach a perfect result every single time you attempt to do something. But anyway, that is my assurance for you if you're trying to be perfect. I'm just reminding you, you don't have to. I hope that is helpful somewhat, guys. Thanks for listening so far. Just a reminder, ING Australia offers 125 bonus cash if for new customers that opens new accounts with them. If you want to know more and what steps you need to take, you can go down to my link in the description below. So just scroll all the way down. It's somewhere in the bottom there. There is a link for the bonus $125 cash for new customers with ING Australia. And you can click the link and check it out for yourself and see whether you're eligible or not. Anyway, that's it for today, guys. I will see you in the next video. Bye, everyone.